alien armadas shocked by the devastating power of Earth's battleships. In the year 2275, humanity had carved out a new existence among the stars, the United Earth Federation, a coalition of nations that had set aside their differences, now wielded advanced technology and formidable warships. The most fearsome of these was the Hercules, a battleship that had become a symbol of hope and resilience. Captain Elena Reyes commanded the Hercules, her reputation as a tactical genius preceding her. With a crew forged through years of training and camaraderie, they were prepared to face any threat. Little did they know that the greatest challenge was yet to come. One fateful day, as they patrolled the outskirts of the Orion sector, an alarm blared throughout the ship. Scanners lit up with the presence of an approaching fleet, a colossal armada of alien warships, the likes of which humanity had never encountered. The invaders belonged to the Zathar Dominion, known for their brutal conquests across the galaxy. The Zathar ships were massive, their hulls glistening with a sinister metallic sheen. As they approached, their commander, General Vrax, issued a chilling ultimatum: surrender or face annihilation. Humanity had heard of the Zathar's merciless campaigns, and fear gripped the hearts of many, but not Captain Reyes. Steady, she commanded, her voice steady as she scanned the tactical displays. We are not going to let fear dictate our actions. The Hercules and her fleet of allied ships took formation, readying their weapons. Earth's battleships were equipped with cutting-edge technology, including the experimental pulsar cannons, designed to deliver devastating strikes against even the most fortified enemies. As the Zathar ships moved into position, Captain Reyes initiated the first strike. The Hercules fired its pulsar cannons, brilliant beams of energy cutting through space and slamming into the enemy lines. The Zathar were taken aback, their ships exploding in brilliant displays of fire and debris. Prepare for evasive maneuvers, Reyes shouted, watching as the Zathar scrambled to retaliate. Their weapons fired back, but the Hercules dodged with agile precision. The crew worked in perfect harmony, responding to Reyes's commands with practiced efficiency. The Zathar Armada, underestimating Earth's defenses, quickly found themselves in a desperate struggle. The coordinated assault from the Hercules and her allies shattered the ranks of the invading fleet. Alien ships were torn apart, and the once unstoppable force began to falter. But the Zathar were relentless. General Vrax, enraged by the unexpected resistance, commanded his fleet to regroup and retaliate with overwhelming force. He launched a barrage of missiles, their trajectories set to annihilate the Hercules. The bridge was a whirlwind of activity as the crew worked frantically to counter the incoming assault. Brace for impact, Reyes yelled as she maneuvered the ship at full throttle, evading the missiles with expert precision. The Hercules rocked as a few projectiles grazed its shields, but the ship held firm. Reyes seized the moment, ordering a counteroffensive that would cripple the Zathar's command ships. With a fierce battle cry, the crew activated the Hercules' ultimate weapon, the Nova Burst. This cataclysmic weapon, still experimental, was designed to unleash a wave of destructive energy that could turn the tide of any battle. Reyes knew this was their moment. On my mark, she instructed, her eyes focused. As the enemy ships began to close in, she shouted, "Now!" The Hercules unleashed the Nova Burst, a blinding explosion that engulfed the battlefield. The energy rippled outward, consuming everything in its path. Zathar ships erupted in fiery chaos, and the once mighty armada disintegrated before the crew's eyes. As the dust settled, silence fell across the battlefield. The Zathar forces, shattered and demoralized, began to retreat. General Vrax, witnessing the devastation of his fleet, signaled a withdrawal, recognizing that the fury of Earth's battleships was too great to overcome. Cheers erupted on the bridge of the Hercules. Captain Reyes and her crew had faced down an overwhelming enemy and emerged victorious. The news of their triumph spread across the Federation like wildfire, igniting a renewed sense of unity and pride among humanity. In the aftermath, the battle was heralded as a turning point. No longer would humanity be viewed as easy prey. The Zathar Dominion had learned that the spirit of Earth could not be extinguished by mere brute force. The battleships of Earth had proven their might, and the galaxy now knew the price of underestimating humanity. As Captain Reyes gazed out at the stars, she understood that this victory was just the beginning. The fight for humanity's place in the universe would continue, but they would face whatever challenges lay ahead with unwavering courage and resolve. In the following months, the Zathar forces retreated to regroup, and intelligence reports indicated that they were not the only threat in the galaxy. A coalition of alien races, once rivals, now united by a common disdain for humanity, began to emerge from the shadows, plotting their own campaigns against the Federation. Captain Reyes received a summons from the Federation Council, calling her to Earth for a strategy meeting. As she stepped into the Grand Council chamber, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Representatives from various member states filled the room, their expressions grave. Captain Reyes, Counselor Albright began, "Your victory against the Zather has provided us a moment of respite, but we cannot afford to grow complacent. We believe an alliance is forming among our enemies, and they are plotting a coordinated assault." Reyes nodded, her heart pounding. "What are our options? We must act before they strike." "We propose a multi-pronged defense strategy," Albright replied. "We need to bolster our fleets, strengthen our outposts, and, most importantly, establish diplomatic channels with potential allies who share our interests." With the fate of humanity hanging in the balance, Reyes agreed to lead a mission to forge alliances with other civilizations. Her first destination was the Hesperian League, a group of advanced beings known for their technological prowess and deep-rooted respect for independence. The Hercules set course for the Hesperian homeworld, a lush planet known for its shimmering cities and advanced AI systems. Upon arrival, Reyes and her crew were met with a mixed reception. The Hesperians were wary of humanity's rapid expansion and the destruction wrought by the recent conflict. In a grand hall filled with holographic displays and ethereal light, Reyes presented her case to the Hesperian Council. "We are not your enemies," she insisted. "Our victory over the Zather was born from a desire to protect our way of life. We face a greater threat together. We need your strength to secure our future." The council listened intently, weighing her words. After what felt like an eternity, the lead counselor, Alicia, spoke. "Your courage is commendable, Captain, but trust must be earned. We will not ally ourselves with a race that cannot control its own aggression." Reyes understood the challenge before her. She proposed a joint training exercise, a demonstration of unity and strength, showcasing the capabilities of both forces in a simulated battle against a common enemy. The Hesperians hesitated but ultimately agreed. Over the following weeks, the Hercules and Hesperian ships engaged in rigorous drills. Reyes's crew learned to synchronize their tactics with the Hesperians, mastering advanced combat techniques and energy systems that enhanced their own warships. The victory over the Zather Dominion reverberated throughout the United Earth Federation. Captain Elena Reyes and her crew of the Hercules became icons of hope, their names celebrated across countless planets. Yet, as they basked in the glow of their triumph, darker clouds loomed on the horizon. During one of the exercises, the simulations took an unexpected turn. An alarm blared as a fleet of unidentified ships appeared on their scanners. An emergency meeting was called, and Reyes's heart sank as they identified the vessels. They were Zather scouts, likely sent to gather intelligence on the burgeoning alliance. "Captain, what do we do?" her tactical officer, Lieutenant Carson, asked, his brow furrowed. Reyes took a deep breath. "We use this to our advantage. Let's show the Hesperians the true strength of our partnership." The Hercules and the Hesperian ships quickly reconfigured their formations, readying for a defensive maneuver. As the Zather ships approached, they were unprepared for the coordinated assault that awaited them. The exercise transformed into a real battle, and Reyes and Alicia led their forces with precision and determination. Together, they outmaneuvered and outsmarted the Zather scouts, showcasing the effectiveness of their alliance. The Zather, realizing they had underestimated their opponents yet again, fled back into the depths of space. In the aftermath, the Hesperian Council convened once more. Alicia stood before Reyes, a glimmer of respect in her eyes. "You have proven your resolve, Captain. We will stand with you against the Zather and any other foes that dare threaten your world." With the Hesperians now allied with the United Earth Federation, Reyes felt a surge of hope, but she knew this was only the beginning. They needed to prepare for the imminent threat from the coalition of alien races that was forming against them. As the Hercules departed the Hesperian homeworld, Reyes gathered her crew. "We have forged a vital alliance, but we cannot rest. The galaxy is changing, and we must be ready. Our next mission will be to gather intelligence on the coalition. We need to know who our enemies are and how we can counter their plans." The crew nodded, their resolve solidifying. They would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in purpose. With their new allies by their side, they were ready to confront the unknown. As the stars stretched out before them, Captain Reyes knew that the true test of their strength was yet to come. They had shocked the Zather, but they would need to harness their newfound alliances to navigate the treacherous waters of galactic politics and warfare. Together, they would prove that humanity's spirit could not be extinguished, and that Earth's battleships would rise to meet any challenge. As the Hercules hurtled through the cosmos, Captain Reyes began to formulate a plan for their next steps. With the Hesperian alliance secured, their first objective was to gather intelligence on the emerging coalition of alien races. Reyes called a meeting with her senior officers on the bridge. "We need to scout the regions where the coalition is likely to form. The more we know about our enemies, the better prepared we'll be." Lieutenant Carson leaned forward. "There have been whispers of an underground network operating in the nebula rim. Smugglers and mercenaries could have information about the coalition's movements." "Good thinking," Reyes replied. "Let's head there. We'll deploy reconnaissance drones to gather intel without drawing attention." The Hercules altered its course toward the nebula rim, a colorful region of space shrouded in dense gas clouds and asteroid fields. As they navigated the treacherous terrain, Reyes felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. The lives of her crew and the fate of Earth hung in the balance. As they entered the nebula, the ship's sensors struggled to penetrate the thick clouds. "Deploy the drones," Reyes ordered. The small, agile devices zipped away from the ship, their cameras scanning for signs of activity. Hours passed, and tension filled the air. Just as doubts began to creep in, one of the drones transmitted a feed back to the Hercules. The image revealed a series of makeshift bases hidden among the asteroids, bustling with activity. "Look at that," Carson said, pointing to the screen. "That's definitely a gathering place for smugglers." "Let's get a closer look," Reyes commanded. "We need to find out who's running the show." The Hercules edged closer, cloaking technology masking its presence. They observed the bases, noting the diverse assortment of ships, each representing different alien species, all seemingly united by a common goal. "Sir, we've picked up communications," reported Ensign Patel, her fingers flying over the controls. "They're discussing a meeting of the coalition leaders. It's happening soon." "Can we get a location?" Reyes asked, her heart racing. "Coordinates locked," Patel replied. "It's an asteroid base, heavily fortified." Reyes felt a spark of determination. "This could be our chance to gather critical intelligence. We'll send a small team to infiltrate the base." As they planned their covert operation, Reyes selected a team of her most trusted officers, Carson, Patel, and a seasoned security officer named Sergeant Lyra. They equipped themselves with stealth gear and prepared for the mission. Under the cover of darkness, the team descended to the asteroid base in a small shuttle, cloaked from detection. As they landed, they could hear the muffled voices of the coalition leaders echoing from a nearby chamber. "Remember, we need to gather evidence of their plans," Reyes whispered. "If we can expose their intentions, we can sway public opinion against them." They crept through the shadows, navigating the labyrinthine corridors of the base. As they approached the chamber, Reyes activated her comms. "We're in position." Inside, the coalition leaders, a mix of Zathar generals, Hesperian dissidents, and other alien representatives, gathered around a holographic display. Reyes held her breath as she activated her own recording device. "What we need is a show of force," a Zathar general declared, his voice booming. "Earth is weak, and if we strike now, we can crush them once and for all." The other leaders nodded in agreement, but one figure stood apart, a Hesperian representative, her features tense and uncertain, spoke up. "We risk everything by launching an attack. What if we fail?" "Failure is not an option," the general barked. "We will demonstrate our might and wipe them from existence." Reyes exchanged glances with her team, adrenaline surging. They needed this information. It was proof that the coalition was serious about launching an attack against Earth. Suddenly, the alarm blared. "Intruders!" a voice echoed through the base. "Secure the area." "Move!" Reyes shouted. The team raced back down the corridor, adrenaline pumping. They needed to get back to the shuttle before they were caught. As they sprinted through the base, blaster fire erupted behind them. Carson ducked and returned fire, covering their escape. "This way," he yelled, leading them toward an emergency exit. Reyes pushed herself harder, her heart pounding in her chest. They reached the shuttle just as the alarms blared louder, flashing red lights illuminating the area. "Get us out of here," she shouted, slamming the door shut behind them. Patel worked quickly to power up the shuttle as the sound of footsteps echoed closer. With a final burst of energy, the shuttle lifted off, narrowly escaping the asteroid base. As they cleared the perimeter, Reyes let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "Did we get the data?" she asked, turning to Patel. "Yes, Captain," Patel confirmed, her eyes wide with excitement. "We have everything." "Good, now let's get back to the Hercules," Reyes said, a mix of relief and triumph flooding her. As they flew back, Reyes reflected on what they had learned. They had solid evidence of the coalition's intentions, a crucial asset that could change the tide of public opinion and galvanize support for their cause. Upon returning to the Hercules, Reyes wasted no time in relaying the intelligence to the Federation Council. The room was packed, the atmosphere charged with anticipation. "Council members," she began, projecting the holographic display of the coalition meeting, "we've gathered evidence of a planned attack against Earth. The coalition believes we are vulnerable, but we can turn this perception to our advantage." Gasps echoed through the chamber as the footage played, revealing the alliance of enemies conspiring against them. The council members leaned in, some visibly shaken by the gravity of the threat. "We must act quickly," Reyes urged. "We need to mobilize our forces and prepare for a counteroffensive. This is our chance to demonstrate that Earth will not be an easy target." The council debated her proposal, the tension palpable. Finally, a consensus was reached. "We will launch a preemptive strike against the coalition before they can execute their plans," Councillor Albright announced, determination etched on his face. Reyes felt a surge of resolve. They had taken the initiative, and now it was time to show the galaxy what humanity could accomplish when united. As the Hercules and its fleet prepared for battle, Captain Reyes stood on the bridge, her heart pounding with anticipation. The stakes had never been higher, but with their newfound alliances and critical intelligence, they were ready to confront the threat head-on. "Prepare for departure," she ordered, her voice steady. "Today, we show the galaxy that Earth's battleships are a force to be reckoned with. We will not just defend our home, we will fight for our future." As the Hercules surged forward into the depths of space, Reyes knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. They would face their enemies together, and no matter what challenges awaited them, they would rise to meet them. As the Hercules and its fleet of allied ships hurtled toward the coalition's stronghold in the Nebula Rim, the atmosphere on board was electric with anticipation. Captain Reyes stood at the helm, her resolve unshakable. This was not just a mission to defend Earth, it was a fight for the very survival of their way of life. "Status report," she commanded, her eyes scanning the tactical displays. "Fleet readiness at 95%, Lieutenant Carson replied. All ships are equipped and primed for battle. We have support from the Hesperians, who are eager to demonstrate their capabilities." Reyes nodded, feeling a surge of confidence. "Good. We'll need every advantage we can get. Once we arrive, we'll implement a two-pronged strategy, one force to distract and draw their fire, while the other targets their command ships directly." As they approached the coordinates of the coalition base, Reyes activated a visual feed of the enemy fleet. Massive vessels floated in formation, their hulls dark and foreboding, a stark reminder of the might they faced. "Looks like they're not expecting us," Patel noted, her fingers dancing across the controls. "We have the element of surprise. Let's make sure they remember it," Reyes replied, determination shining in her eyes. "All hands, prepare for battle." The moment the Hercules entered the battle zone, chaos erupted. The coalition ships, caught off guard, scrambled to respond. Reyes felt the adrenaline surge as she barked orders, guiding her crew with practiced precision. "Activate cloaking shields and initiate the diversionary assault," she commanded. The Allied ships sprang into action, launching volleys of energy blasts that illuminated the dark expanse of space. The coalition's defenses faltered as the Hercules maneuvered through the fray, its pulsar cannons unleashing devastating strikes on enemy vessels. "Reyes, we've got incoming," Carson shouted, pointing to a fleet of Zathar ships barreling toward them. "Divert power to the shields. Prepare to counter," Reyes ordered, her heart racing. The Hercules shuddered as enemy fire impacted, but the shields held strong. "Now! Return fire," she commanded. The ship erupted in a symphony of energy blasts, tearing through the Zathar ranks. One by one, enemy ships began to explode, their crews thrown into disarray. In the midst of the chaos, the Hesperian ships executed their own tactical maneuvers, coordinating with the Hercules to surround the enemy command vessels. the two-pronged strategy was working. Target their command ship, Reyes shouted, pointing to the largest vessel in the fleet. That's where we'll hit them hardest. With the coalition's command structure in disarray, the Hercules surged forward, the Nova burst charging in its core. Reyes felt the power building, a palpable force ready to be unleashed. Firing Nova burst, she declared, and with a blinding flash, the weapon released a wave of destructive energy that engulfed the enemy command ship. The explosion lit up the dark expanse like a star, and the coalition forces faltered as their leadership crumbled. Now's our chance. Push forward, Carson shouted, rallying the crew. With their command ship destroyed, the remaining coalition forces began to retreat. Reyes seized the moment, coordinating a final assault to dismantle the remaining ships. As the Hercules fired the last of its arsenal, the cries of victory erupted throughout the bridge. The battle raged on, but it was clear, Earth and its allies had gained the upper hand. Slowly but surely, the coalition forces fell, one by one, until silence enveloped the battlefield. As the dust settled, the crew of the Hercules let out a collective cheer. They had done it, they had defended their home against overwhelming odds and struck a decisive blow against their enemies. Signal the fleet, Reyes commanded, a smile breaking across her face. We've won today, but we must remain vigilant. Let's secure the area and ensure no remnants of the coalition remain. As the crew began their post-battle assessments, Reyes took a moment to reflect. They had faced the darkness together, united in their fight for survival. Their victory would send ripples throughout the galaxy, a reminder that humanity would not be easily defeated. Back on Earth, the news of their triumph spread like wildfire. The Federation Council convened to honor the brave crews of the Hercules and their allies, recognizing their valor and strategic brilliance. Captain Reyes was celebrated not just as a commander but as a symbol of hope for humanity. In the following weeks, Reyes worked tirelessly alongside her allies to secure peace. They reached out to former enemies, promoting diplomacy and understanding. The scars of war were fresh, but humanity was determined to build a future where collaboration triumphed over conflict. As she stood on the bridge of the Hercules, looking out at the stars, Reyes felt a sense of pride. They had defended their home, forged alliances, and proven that the spirit of humanity was unbreakable. The galaxy was vast, and challenges lay ahead, but they would face them together, ready to protect their future. Set course for the Hesperian homeworld, Reyes ordered, a new determination in her voice. It's time to strengthen our alliances and build a new era of peace. As the Hercules soared through the stars, Reyes knew that this was just the beginning of their journey. Together, they would explore the cosmos, standing as guardians of Earth and champions of a brighter future for all sentient beings.